It is Sunday, and we're back with the European Ham Radio Show. And for some of you guys, probably the guys in North America, we're on at a different time because in Europe we ended daylight saving times this weekend. But I think you changed next week, don't you, Walt?
Yeah, this is the only week it'll be this way. It'll be back to 3:00 Eastern, four Central, 5 Mountain, and 6 Pacific. I want to sound like the American team.
Yeah, we got a guest here today, and we got all of the hosts. So we are, as William says, a full house today. And we got a guest 2 spaces over there, Greg N4KGL, and you're going to talk a little bit about Radar. But before we get there, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit, Greg?
All right. Thank you. Well, I'm talking to you today from Dothan, Alabama. That's in southeast Alabama. I've spent most of the last 30 years in Panama City, Florida, which is on the Gulf Coast. I've been a ham ever since a teenager, but I took about 25 years off. So about 10 years ago, I got back into it, and I'm making up for lost time.
Awesome. And we're happy to have you on here. So we usually start the show off with talking about what we did in ham radio the last week. So how about you start with your ham radio week, Greg?
All right. Well, in our week, we have a Zoom each Monday. It's called Beginners Academy. It's not open to the world, so to speak, but I do it for the Panama City Club and the Dothan, Alabama Club. So we have a presentation every other week on a topic. So kind of similar to the ham radio show. Also, this week we had a local ham gathering here. The club put on a tailgate, and a friend of mine, Tom, and myself set up our portable radios and magnetic loops and just kind of gave a demo. So that was a lot of fun. I've been getting used to the FX4CR because I plan to use it for the radar outing, and I used it at that event. Plus, I gathered up my gear to do fox hunting, and I'm hoping to introduce our club to fox hunting. So
awesome.
I don't have anything on the lab bench, but that's what I've been doing.
No, that's for a whole different show on what's on our workbenches.
Okay.
An hour for that.
Yeah, we do. That's the Ham Radio Workbench podcast. If you guys have heard that,
I love
Walt,
that.
How has your ham radio week been?
Not much ham radio, to be honest with you. Working right now, we're project we're working on at work's kind of behind, so I've been putting in 10-hour days, 6 days a week. Today is my only day off. That's why you've missed me the last couple of weekends. It's like the only day I can do some family stuff. It's been tough, but I laid down the law this week, and my wife's really cool about it. She goes, "Yeah, go." And I said, I gotta just like be on the show, unwind, talk a little radio. You know what I mean? It's been good, but I've been really busy. Have you noticed? Even if you subscribers, most of my videos have been basically I've been doing them at lunchtime at work. I go out and talk about topics or whatever that I wanted to do. Not a lot of portable. Last Sunday, I did get up. We went down to the Outer Banks, which is an hour from here, Outer Banks, North Carolina. I went out with antenna I got from Chameleon Antenna and played portable with that. I will probably go portable. We're going to go back down next weekend. And my wife actually wants to do POTA. She wants to, I'm going to be the control operator. And we're going to go to where the first flight, where the Wright Brother Memorial, we're thinking about doing a POTA activation next Sunday, and I'm gonna have the biggest pileup ever because you're gonna hear, "This is Kilo for Oscar." I'm gonna use the automatic, pileup maker, a woman's voice, and we're thinking about doing that. She says it now, but she might get mic shy. We'll see how it goes. But that's the plan for next week. But really haven't done a whole lot this week. It's just been work and sat at work. Yes, I worked all day yesterday, and I took my iPad with me and I got on the Netherlands web SDR, and I listened to the contest, and I was just sitting there at work going, what am I doing here, man? I want to be out there, 595. I wanted to do that yesterday, but hey, got to listen in. So that was it for me. Ham radio was
awesome. And Kjetil, you have been I'm not going to say you've been sponsored by an antenna maker, but you've actually made a really good video this week.
Yeah, thanks. I printed some of your antenna kits, like these winders in the middle here. This is actually a vertical quarter wave antenna, so it's not a dipole, but I did use the same basis. Also made a dipole for 15 meters using that 3D printed stuff, and it was really nice to put together. And I do love, like as an engineer, I do love seeing something you print and it actually just fits together and works perfectly. So you really did a good job there.
Yeah, I spent an entire dark winter on research and development for that centerpiece. So I'm kind of proud of that.
It's like it's a dipole antenna. It's like nothing fancy antenna-wise, but the feel of it and how it worked put together, that was really nice. So thank you very much for sharing that. And like for a beginner's antenna, that would be a great thing. I wish I had that when I started doing ham radio. So I built 2 of those yesterday because I thought I had no material for a video this week. Turns out I forgot I filmed something last weekend that I actually didn't put together. But then I went out to the beach, to Järsträndet, to Pota, and did a full Pota activation on 15 meters using only contest QSOs. A bit of cheating, but still. 15 meter and a dipole on a sandy saltwater beach is an amazing performer. So, and 100 watts, of course, that works. So so that was fun. Other than that, most of my week was replacing my car. I got a new van, which I used for the activation yesterday. And that's a Caddy Maxi, Volkswagen Caddy Maxi. So it's a used one, but rather new, only 3 years old. And then I had a lot of work events. I had to go to a hockey match on Thursday with work and then to a concert on Friday. So it was really lots of long days at work, but still fun.
Yeah.
So
that is awesome, though, and congrats on the new car. And I just want to correct one thing you said in the video, though, that the people can buy my antennas over at Etsy, and not anymore. Turned out that I really wasn't. I was pretty much just breaking even on them, so it's not worth the hassle of producing and sending them out, so people can print and make them themselves instead.
Yeah, I see Jeff has a question there. Kilo Sierra Zero Juliet Delta. He also commented in the video about contest calls, because in my video I used Lima Charlie 5 Lima, which is my contest call, or Lima Contest 5 Lima. And it's not only a Norwegian thing. It's a lot of them everywhere. And I think the analogy would be over in the States, you have those like Whiskey 1 Alpha or whatever, those 3-letter call signs. These are just shorter ones. They're 4 letters. Norwegian call signs are always 5 or 6 characters. So that's why we have the option with having them shortened. And they're only to be used for contests. But if you do that contest on a SOTA summit or on a POTA reference, then you can activate using that. So as long as everything is a legal contest QSO, which they always are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tobias, hamsticks, car.
Right.
Recap and radios. Yeah. That's pretty much
exactly.
What
Let me switch the screen. Now you have me twice. Once on the left side and once on the right side.
Let's see. Since you were like this, I am gonna see if I can find the right button to make you bigger here. There we go.
Okay. See, as you can see, you have me twice now. So that was the thumbnail of my Ampro test stick, Ampro video testing the SWR of the Ampro sticks. And that was just done on Saturday, so yesterday, because the whole week I was, well, more or less sick with the flu or with the cold. So yeah, it was not a fun week, but I got a lot of software debugging done with a bit of fever. That seems to help. And then I took this IC2E clone apart, where I made the live stream a few weeks ago. And I'm not really sure if what I'm doing here. I got the service manual for the IC2E, and the PLL PCB is more or less one-to-one identical, but the main PCB, there's quite a few differences. So I've just, printed it out and written down all the electrolytic capacitors that are in there, and then I started, taking them off. So this is how it looks right now. Only the section in the top left corner under all these wires is still full of capacitors. Everything else is gone and put in a box. And the most difficult part of the operation is, of course, going to, Mauser or some other electronics distributor and ordering these things. This is probably what will take most of my time, or most of the time. And once they arrive, putting them back in should be easy. So that was my ham weekend, more or less. Yeah. And today I also had a second attempt on the ham sticks. And I might have another video coming out tomorrow about that, because it's not so easy taking one of these 3 mag mounts apart. And I basically had a bit of a mishap, but you'll see that in the video.
Yeah. But what I noticed from your video is actually that the ham sticks are actually pretty wide banded once you get above 20 meters.
Yes, yeah. I think the full you commented the full 10-meter band is basically okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect on the upper end, but it's definitely usable.
And anything below 2 in SWR is
exactly
good in my books.
Yeah. Well, you run 100 watts.
With auto tuner, the 20-meter ham. I've gone down to 17, and the SWR was like 1.9, 1.8. I just used it and worked. It's like really wide.
I think on the 15-meter one I had to take a few centimeters off, and also the 20-meter one I can probably cut so much off.
I think I cut about 10 centimeters off my 20-meter ham stick.
Why are you cutting ham sticks?
When you tune it, you don't want, from what I've read, you don't want too much of that wire inside
the coil.
The coil, right?
Yeah.
Why?
So about
it affects it.
All right. Yeah.
At least I had the problem that I couldn't get the SWR on point before until I cut it. Yeah, so insert it deeper, and it doesn't help at all, because the metal rod goes inside the coil basically. So I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, but it didn't work without cutting.
It was the same with me. But if your ham sticks work, Bob, don't bother cutting them.
If it works, leave them. I was scared to cut them, basically.
the last stick type antenna I tried to cut, it tried to murder me in return. There was blood everywhere. These edges get really sharp when you cut them. So I'm not going to try that again.
That's why you get one of those large bolt cutters and cut them.
I touched. No. I'm not going to get into it.
No.
Yeah.
You need one of these.
And Bob, your ham radio week. You got back from Sardinia?
Yeah, I did. I'm going to do it in reverse order. I'm going to try and share a picture first, if we can get that up.
Let's get that up.
That was that's from today. There was QSD Lima Alpha, which is the news bulletin for Norwegian radio amateurs. I checked into that and took part. I'm going to read that actually next week. That's going to be interesting. And there was the portable mobile activity for the local radio club. So that's a 2x22 dipole and a CG 3000 tuner on the ground there. Not a particularly interesting picture, but I'm getting really good at putting up this rig as relevant for today's theme of rapid deployment. I had all that up in 15 minutes. Parked the car, 15 minutes later, that was all up and working. I'm pretty happy with that for a 10 meter tall mast and a total of 66 meters of wire and guy ropes. So that was all right. I think we can remove that. Sardinia. I continued. I think I was about half done with that expedition when last Sunday. So the totals are in. I think I posted them on the Discord, but I can quickly go through it. I ended up on 118 soda points for the week. I'm pretty happy with that. That's
a lot.
Yeah, that's 12 summits in 1 week. 225 contacts from 425 contacts from 242 distinct call signs. 29 countries, including Australia and the United States, which fairly, not that hard really, but 19 summits with 16 distinct summits. And Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Bravo November, he actually caught me on every single one of the 12 summits. I think that's pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's not a half bad week, though.
No, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going back to Sardinia. There's no questions about it. There's 20 summits there. That's about 1,300 meters. That's what gives you 10 points on Sardinia. And I manage 11 of these summits on this trip. So I still have ways to go. I'm going back next year.
Awesome. I haven't really done much radio this week. Got to do a little bit more than I planned for. Finished work about an hour early on Wednesday. Stopped by a POTA site. The coastal trail here runs through a rest stop, which is fairly close to my commute. So I stopped by there, about 50 meters from the Swedish border. Put the 706 on the dashboard, whip on top of the car, did 43 contacts in 25 minutes. Had a pilot for my first CQ and got home 5 minutes earlier than I would have if I had left at the right time. So that was just a quick POTA. And then on Thursday, I took the day off work because there was a lot of family kid stuff going on. So doctor's appointments, dentists, school meetings, and stuff like that. So I managed to squeeze in a quick POTA activation there, down by the docks by saltwater. And here's a pro tip: if we're going to activate close to an ISPS zone, you probably gonna talk to the harbor security people. Came over, knocked on my window, asked what I was doing, and pretty much asked if I was a Russian spy with all the antennas on top of my car. But then he turned out to be pretty interested in what I was doing and watched me for a couple of QSOs. So turned out to be pretty good, though.
That's nice. We have a NATO base close to here. Maybe I should try the same.
Yeah. Just park as close as you can get to the fence. That usually helps.
Yeah.
Besides that, not much. Did a little bit of the CQ Worldwide today. Not a lot. 15 QSOs. Bands weren't in particularly good shape, so a lot of Russian stations, a lot of Polish stations, and that was about what I could hear. Tried some FD8, got the same Russian and Polish stations there, so feels like the bands are the way they were a couple of years ago today.
Yeah, there's some solar activity there. It's kind of down on us a little bit.
And got a couple of days off next week. I've had, as you have, Walt, I've had 6-day work weeks for the last couple of weeks. So down to a little bit more normality this week. So that's pretty much, and I got one more thing to show you, though, because I got an email from one of my viewers. And let's see if we can put that up here. And where did that window go, though? Anyway, I seem to have closed that window, so never mind that. But I'll do it from the top of my head, though. He was commenting that LB0 Fox India was kind of hard to hear, that the Fox India kind of turned into one word. And I want to ask you guys and our viewers, what is it hard to hear if I say Fox India, or should I say Foxtrot India?
I think Fox, either way. I mean, I understand you completely both ways. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to get the rhythm when you have to say Foxtrot India. It kind of interrupts the rhythm when I call CQ.
The Norwegian.
Try two Juliets after one another. That breaks the rhythm.
Yeah.
It's the Norwegian word for understand, verstår.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, jag förstår. Jag förstår.
I learned once that like you have those the phonetics, like you have Foxtrot, Lima, Oscar, and so on. So like that's the point of it. Like you have only, or you have two peaks in there.
Yep.
But same. I also mostly say Fox Hotel, not Foxtrot Hotel.
Yeah, because
then
you have Foxtrot in your call sign as well. So
yeah, and people, if I do Foxtrot Hotel, then a lot of people say, "What's the third letter?" Yeah, like because they consider Norwegians always having 3 letters as we used to have.
But I am happy though that I only have one Foxtrot, because I had a sked on 20 meters with Ham Radio Dude, and his call sign is Whiskey 9 Foxtrot Foxtrot Foxtrot, and that is a tongue twister.
Well, I have the longest call sign of everybody here, so what should I say? I always have problem with the tango at the end, because I think Americans speak it completely different, and if I start with a German tango, nobody knows what it is. So I really have to force myself in a bit of a American slang twang. I don't know.
Yep.
You know what? My original call sign that was given to me by the American FCC is Kilo Oscar for Oscar Golf Oscar. So I went and when I looked to see if K4OGO was available, I mean, it has no meaning or anything. I just wanted to get rid of one of the Oscars. But yeah, my original call was Kilo Oscar for Oscar Golf Oscar. You try that.
That's perfect for CW. You will be forever. Da 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 da. You know.
But at least you have the option of getting vanity call signs. We don't. So
I'm stuck with what I got.
Yep.
I would say almost half the time no one ever gets Oscar Golf Oscar right. They go golf Oscar golf Oscar. I get that. I've already kind of established that call sign now. If I could go all the way back to when I got K4OGO, I would just get something else. I thought about it.
Oscar Mike Golf or something like that.
Yeah, well, I thought about going to a 4-letter call when I got my extra, but I had already kind of established K4OGO and then log books and everything else. I had to stick with it. But yeah, call signs.
Besides that, we have our contest. I'm going to put up, it was the first 30 minutes of the show before we had to put those up for your calculations to be correct. So I'm going to present the correct answers here.
While you do that, I can, of course, tell our viewers what the correct answer was. And that was RTTY, or RTTY, as some Americans call it, or remote teletype, I guess that's short for. It was 45.45 boards, I think. That was the dialect of RTTY that we listened to. And these the top 3 got that right. Lima Bravo for Mike Hotel. He got the previous contest right, but I forgot to include him in the draw.
Yeah,
so he gets included this week instead.
And we'll do the drawing towards the end of the show, but you can see these here. And before we go on to Greg's presentation, we're just going to present the prize this weekend, because Oscar Mike Zero Echo Tango was nice enough to give us a nice giveaway for this contest. So I'm just going to show that quickly.
Morten, I can Or do you like to give this as a prize into your next contest?
Absolutely, we could do that if you want
This is
to part with that.
this is the wide frequency receiver. It doesn't have the single sideband, so I can give you this thing and to give a prize for the next winner.
That
It's
would be
it's the
It's very generous.
HRD 737. So if you are interested, I can send this radio to the winner.
And I just noticed that said last week on the European Ham Radio Show. That was 2 weeks ago. But so the winner will not get that nice hat that you're wearing, Bob, but a nice little radio instead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
nice
can take part in next week competition for the hat.
For that,
yeah. I don't know if you watched Paul's video today, but I sent you a private chat with a link. You may if you can share that. Morten.
Yeah, we're gonna do that, and then
Paul
we're gonna go.
Yeah. I'll just tell quickly what this is. Paul launched a new service which is called QRP Cluster, and it's a place to spot yourself when you go out and operate QRP. I think that's a fairly good idea. So I'm hoping that's going to catch on.
Yeah, as I see, my copy paste skills are not up to par here because it's, but you get it. It's QRPcluster.com though, so I'm not sure why it turned out to be that way, but never mind. Greg,
Yes.
thank you again for being on. I'm going to put your presentation up here, and you can explain to all of us and all our viewers what radar is.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, because that sounds like a really interesting concept. So the stage is yours, Greg.
All right, thank you. I'm Greg N4KGL, November 4 Kilo Golf Lima. I live in Alabama, also in Florida, particularly Northwest Florida. Today, I'd like to spread the word about rapid deployment amateur radio, also known as radar. I've been doing it for about a decade, and it's been a lot of fun. And let's see, how do I get that to go down here? Just click. I see it.
Yeah, I think you just click on it.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, radar. Well, it's hard to communicate how much fun it is until you do it. So I know one of the folks here, LB4FG, has done it in the past. The characteristics of radar is it's unique. There's nothing like it. It's challenging and it's fun. The concept of radar was originated with Eddie Layton, ZS6B&E. He's a ham in South Africa, and he was or is a runner, and he started carrying his gear on his runs, and it just kind of developed from there, the radar concept. So it's been around for a while. I came up with this slide so I could cover a lot with one slide. Well, here we have a outdoor scene, and I've got 4 little bubbles here, and those represent deployments. So the concept in radar is to deploy, make at least 5 contacts, then travel to the next deployment, say number 2, and make 5 more contacts. Your means to get from point 1 to point 2, the distances are 1 kilometer for going on foot, 2 kilometers if you're using a bicycle or something similar, and 6 kilometers if you're in a vehicle. One of the things that makes this really unique is there's a clock up here for 4 hours. So we're all familiar with setting up and getting on, maybe for POTA or SOTA. But in radar, you need 5 contacts when you want them, just as soon as you get set up. If you're lucky, you'll get them. If not, it'll hold you up. So the clock ticking is a factor, and you want to do as many deployments as possible in that 4 hours. So you may do 2 deployments, 3 or 4 or 5, as many as you can work in. The last deployment, you need at least 1 QSO. Okay. Radar is generally done on HF, although VHF and UHF contacts count. You can make contacts with any band or mode except for repeaters.
And is that
All
land-based repeaters, as in,
yes.
in SOTA and POTA? Can you use satellites? That's actually what I'm asking.
You can use satellites. I didn't put that on the slide, but you can use satellites. And I've done
Awesome.
satellites with radar. Yeah. Currently, radar is twice a year, the first Saturday of April and November. So November 4th is the next one coming up. And so this activity, it really brings together your skills that you may have learned by operating outdoors, because you're going to need those. And also your equipment, you'll want to optimize your equipment for the type of movement that you're doing. And also your knowledge about the different bands and just how to get those quick contacts. It varies. As far as the venue, I kind of skipped over that. You can choose any venue. It's not limited to specific venues. I'll call it a generic word, venue, like SOTA and POTA. So you can take advantage of anything that's particularly scenic that you have access to. So there are further details about the points. We encourage radar to radar contacts. Those are 3 points. If you work other people who are outdoors, POTA or SOTA or WWFF, that would be 2 points. And then other contacts would be 1 point. So this, I'm calling it Radar Rally. It's essentially the same as Radar Challenge, but I tweaked the rules. So I kind of gave it a different name, Radar Rally.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And at
So
this
do you
point, I
call
ask if there's
CQ
any questions about radar. Right.
Yeah, Tobias.
Well, you can call. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
the question was: do you call like CQ POTA SOTA? Do you call CQ radar, or for the other to pick up that you're in the challenge or so?
Right. Well, I call CQ radar, CQ any station. That's what I say. but you can call CQ. You may have friends who are chasers or other radar operators. But if I don't get a lot of response on my CQ, then I go into hunt and pounce mode and to get the 5 contacts.
Yeah, that's also what I had to do the last time I did it. I did try something, but then I wasn't in, and they pulled off for fauna or summits on there, so I had to just pick people to talk with, and none of them had any idea what radar was at that time. So,
But this, I mean, this is a challenge. I kind of like this. But you can do this all year round. You're not necessarily locked into those
Right.
two Saturdays. Is that correct, Greg?
You can do this. That's correct. I've done it at other times. This is just kind of a focus, kind of like field day or winter field day twice a year, but you can do it anytime, particularly to practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. And yeah, just one question. If you operate from your car, can you operate mobile, or do you need to set everything up outside the car?
You can operate mobile. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So
Well,
you can,
it's not
you can
as interesting as getting out of your
No.
car. So, yeah. Well,
but I guess
I wanted
that's
to
why
make
you have.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a challenge. I really want to try this, but I'm in a line of work where I work at a concert venue as a sound engineer. So I usually work Saturdays, but this is something that I really want to try. Can you self-spot doing this?
Yes. Well, it's any which way you can. I did come up with a spots page. It's essentially a Google spreadsheet. We're going to try that out this year. And the details, the rules, and the spot page and the roster are on a website I set up. www.radarrally.info.
I'm going to put that up here.
So, yes. Yes.
I'm sharing that spotting.
Yeah, I'll put that
now.
up for first there.
Yeah, so you can go in here, and it seemed to work well on a PC. I haven't tried it on a cell phone yet, but different modes here, or deployment stages. You have which band you're on, mode, and status, and which frequency you're on, like if you're on 14.220, for example. So
Yeah.
this is going to be fun to do. It's not like I'm not sure how many does this. Do you know how many you have been like doing this, Greg? Is it tens?
Well,
or?
it varies over the years. It's varied, and it's popular in South Africa, but the numbers aren't great like POTA or SOTA. So, I can say it's probably varied from 5 to 25. It kind of varies.
Yeah.
And I think participation was waning a little bit. So we've made a push to get the word out.
Yeah, I think
And
that post on TEHRS helped
anybody,
a lot. It was
right. We have a ham in the UK, Lucy, who's very enthusiastic, and she made a post on QRZ and started a good discussion about radar. And if we can go back to the slides, I can show her plan. Yeah, I'll go back. Let's see. Okay, well, that's Lucy. Mike 6, Echo, Charlie Golf. Yeah. Yeah.
She's in the chat, by the way.
She's
yeah.
been Great. Well, hello, Lucy. So she's going to do it on the coast. I think it's Claxton by the sea, and she's made her plan to go down the coast, and she's going to use a foot scooter, and so that's her plan. Everybody's plan will be unique. Um, I have a friend in Canada, and he's operated on a frozen lake before. So, but anyway, a shout out to Lucy. Um, she's very excited
Yeah.
about this next. And
And
the date
and I
is yes.
yeah, I see that Charlie Red Summit RF here asks if you log your results somewhere, and I see that Lucy answers that you can just send the results to you. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, when I worked on the rules, I wanted to make this easy. So I didn't require a log per se, but on that website of ours is a few things. It's essentially a summary instead of a log. And
Okay. Yep.
so the details are on our, it's in the rules. Now, it turns out that Eddie has a great online logger, and if you want to put your contacts into that, it can earn you some bonus points because he matches up the contacts uh, uh, to confirm a QSL essentially, and so we're giving bonus points for that. But
Awesome.
Submitting a log is not mandatory. I would like some of the details include how many radar to radar contacts, how many contacts with POTA contacts you made, how many other contacts you had, and the number of deployments. So that information will let me calculate a score. It's the contact points times the number of deployments plus bonus points.
One question, Greg. There's some extra points for QRP. Do you consider that 5 or 10 watts?
Well, I consider it 5 watts for CW and 10 watts for anything else.
Yeah, so same as here. Then.
So, yeah,
That's good.
yeah, the conventional QRP ARCI, that's what they've adopted. So,
yeah.
And I see Charlie asks here if there are any awards, badges, or milestones in the radar program.
Well, no, I'm glad you asked that question. I think we're lacking on that, but we would like. So it's kind of for personal satisfaction right now. So we didn't want to make it an official contest. So I don't have any awards, but we can put that under consideration. Thanks, Charlie, for the comment.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm hooked on the concept of radar already. I've read a little bit about it, but now that I've heard you talk about it, Greg, I really got to try this out at some point.
It is fun, and the challenge here is like hike-wise. This is nothing more than a normal SOTA hike for me, like walking for or being out for 4 hours and operating. The issue is getting the radio up and down a lot. Like you have to mount your antenna, take it down again. This is the area I'm gonna operate in. By the way, I'm starting over here into this POTA and Furafauna area, which is called Urodalen. It's about 1 kilometer to walk. So I go up there and then up to Säland, which is another nature preserve, also POTA Furafauna, and then back down to Urodalen, which is another kilometer, and then around here and then back again. And that should give me 4 or 5 activations within that time. So that's my plans. A bit bushy, a bit hilly, but like this is just 100 meters high or 300 feet. So it's a small hill.
Yeah, it
So-
looks doable
Well,
though. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's going to be
Sure.
really fun, and weather-wise, I don't know how it's going to be next weekend, but it says rain on the forecast, which isn't a big surprise.
Well, it might be the time of year where the rain turns white though.
Yep.
And I see Steve comments here that he needs a faster to deploy antenna. And Greg, what kind of antennas do you use for radar?
well, I've used magnetic loop antennas. They're excellent, quick deployment antennas. I've used a link dipole. I like the Soda Beams 40, 30, 20 band hopper. And I've also used verticals, and particularly on the saltwater shore. So my plan is to operate from St. Andrews State Park, and I'll be on the saltwater shore on the sandy beach. So
I know exactly where that's at. Been there before. The water, hey guys, the water where he's going to be at times can be so blue and beautiful. It's really cool area to be in. It really is.
Awesome. And are you hooked on the idea, Walt?
I think it's a great idea. I wish I had more time. I could do that. So it sounds like a lot of fun, especially, and it's what I do. I get quick deploy portable, just about every portable that I mentioned that in the video. It took me 5 minutes to get up or 2 minutes, boom, boom, up and go. I like that. I think it's a good, for people, not to get too far down that rabbit hole, but people that are the it hits the fan guys or whatever that really think about deployment or whatever. It's a good exercise.
It is, and I think all kind of portable activity is a good exercise in preparedness, though, because should you need it, you need to deploy quickly and conserve power.
I guess
none of that buddy hex and a kilowatt amplifier. That would probably not be possible.
Yeah, I think for like Sambandstjenesten or our emergency communications group, this would be like a really nice group exercise or something like that. For them to that's an organized emergency communications group.
That's a Norwegian Aries group.
My club here, Chesapeake Amateur Radio Service. Guys will go out on a weekend and do something similar to this, but they'll go hundreds of miles in each direction without any cell phone or whatever, and act like they're in a situation where the grid's down and everything, and they'll have look at they'll have times, and they'll all check in on a frequency and then move around and do it again or whatever. And I haven't done it with them. I've watched their presentations on it, and wow, it looks really cool. So this kind of would be something similar to that, maybe on a smaller scale.
And speaking about preparedness, I was thinking about doing a preparedness exercise where I cut the power at home and see how the kids will react. But then I can't cut internet though, since they have 4G. So I'm not really sure how to do that. I can still do radio though.
Faraday cage mode.
Yeah.
Because you can't do Netflix over HF radio, Martin.
No, but I can do email over HF radio.
So,
but
well,
I have a question for Greg. To take part in this, do we have to register in advance, or can we just go out on this coming Saturday and send you the summary afterwards?
Well, you can. It's actually in the history of radar, we never had registration, so it's something I'm trying out. But if you're not registered and you go out, you can send a report in. That will be great. The advantage of registering is that it lets us know other radar operators, so we can try for that challenging radar to radar contact.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Greg. Do you have any more slides? So I don't
I
cut off
do,
your presentation
right?
before you. Yeah, I'll put it back up
Okay.
then.
All right. I think some of you have already commented about this, but you know, we do encourage the physical aspect of it. So we have 3 bonus points for each non-motorized transition. And as mentioned before, 5 bonus points when all contacts are QRP. We mentioned the cool, it's a unique name, but logging that Eddie hosts. See the rules for that. The venue is wide open. I've mentioned I like the saltwater shore, but I can't always do that. Sometimes I just do it in, several blocks from my house. I just go out and do it. It depends on if I can get away and what the weather is. There are a lot of cities that have developed trails and green zones, and some in Florida have done that. So you can take advantage of that. And as I mentioned, my friend and Chris VA3ECO has done his on a frozen lake. Okay, well, movement choices. When the bands weren't so good, I thought I needed 100 watts. So I've actually towed quite a bit of gear, like in a cart. But just going from left to right, for that link dipole, I need a telescoping pole. So I strapped it to the bike here when I did radar on bike. Another radar, I had a little cart, and there was probably 50 pounds of radio gear in that cart, but I could pull it, and that was to get 100 watts. I'm going to go QRP, or perhaps up to 20 watts this time. The next slide is a cart, and this is an example of me taking too much gear, which you're inclined to do the first time you try radars. You say, I want an antenna and a backup antenna and a rig and a backup rig and a battery and a backup battery.
Sounds familiar.
Yep. The fourth little picture is a backpack that I got with the Alex loop. So I can have the Alex loop, the radio, and the battery in the backpack. So that's all I need. There's a little tripod that I stick in there. So I guess over time, I've come around to just doing a backpack. I also have another little cart that I've used, and I had a magnetic loop, and I could actually push the cart with the magnetic loop deployed. So this is all up to your imagination. So in the weeks before the challenge, you'll be deciding just what you're going, deciding how you're going to move, and then what you're going to take on your movement. Antenna choices. Verticals are great. This one's on the saltwater shore. Here's the magnetic loop on the beach. And the one on the right side, it's hard to see, but it's a link dipole. So I'm sure, people might have a ham stick or a telescoping whip to make a vertical with. It's just totally up to your imagination.
I'm going to sound like a commercial here to one of my favorite antennas, but this is a perfect spot for the M1 ECC Sidewinder DX.
Oh yeah,
and a a whip on top of it. It really is. That would be great for this because it's so light to carry. Yeah.
Yeah. Rigs, small compact rigs. There's more and more choices all the time, and I've used the KX2. It's a great, awesome portable radio. I've used the ICOM 705. Goes up to 10 watts. And on the right is the ICOM 9100. If I want 100 watts, I'll probably use that radio. And recently, I was fortunate enough to get, I'm showing here, a
I'll put you up in the big view here.
FX4CR. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that for this radar deployment.
Yeah,
Okay.
That is a really nice little rig. Yeah, and I'm guessing the third one is on its way on screen at the moment. So, but then again,
well,
I think Bob has pretty much every radio ever made.
There we
I
go.
don't know. I can compete with most everybody.
So let's get your slides up here again.
All right.
Let's see if we can make that happen.
All right.
That was not the right button. Let's see here.
Looked like it.
There we go.
I did see the slides. Modes. It's up to you. I've done sideband. I'm a CW guy, so I love that. And I'm a late adopter of FT8, but FT8 is fair game for radar, and I've made a radar-to-radar contact, and there's a little trick to actually send an 8-digit grid square, which is required for radar-to-radar over, it's the essentially the 73 message you can put in an 8-digit grid square. So, it's wide open. If you're a big fan of FT8, go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm thinking digital modes might be ideal since there are not a lot of people hunting radar operators. So you could probably get out further with doing FT8 or other digital modes on this, perhaps.
Right. Well, you will need to pay attention to the timing for FT8, and I made some mistakes. And a guy sent me an email and said, "Your time is the worst I've ever seen." But I started paying attention. But anyway, so it's a choice. Do I want to have a computer at all? Or actually, the FX4CR works with an app over Bluetooth. So band choices. You may, I don't think I've talked a lot about chasers. Well, we've all got friends. We got ham friends, and it's kind of, I call it social engineering, to talk your ham friends into chasing you and giving you one of those 5 contacts. And so really, your band choice might be affected by where your chasers are. So the radar community, we want to work each other, although it's highly challenging. But anyway, for someone new to ham radio, um, they'll need to decide what bands they operate. I've done most of my operating on 20 and 40, but in the current conditions, the higher bands, I've also done 17 meters and up. So it's another consideration. I need those 5 contacts. Well, what band am I going to get on? So I hear some enthusiasm here. So if you don't make it for November 4th, well, you can still practice radar, but the radar rally's coming up on November 4th. I made a little allowance if you want to do it on the next day, which is Sunday. November 4th is Saturday. If you have particularly bad weather on Saturday, then just do it on Sunday. And here I am pulling the cart, and my Bassett is leading the way. So,
and I'm really happy what you said about the Sunday, though, Greg, because I'm at work on Saturday, but I have Sunday off, so that gives me an opportunity to join this, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to. If the weather's not too horrid, then I absolutely will join in on this. I have another technical question. When it comes to distance, is that let's say you're on foot, so you need 1 kilometer. Is that 1 kilometer straight line on a map, or is it the road traveled?
It's your distance traveled.
All right. Yeah.
So the points don't have to be 1 kilometer. It's not very interesting, but you could reuse deployment, and you could go out, walk a kilometer or a half kilometer, turn around and come back to the same area. That's allowed. It's not as interesting as doing different points, but it's allowed.
I see. Where I live, I'm lucky to have 5, 6, 7, I think, POTA parks. And if I just walk back and forth between them, so I think most of these walks are going to be 1 kilometer if I do the long route between 2 parks. So that's it's a nice opportunity to activate the parks quickly. It could be fun.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the Parks on the Air, which is now hugely popular, has a roving award, which is moving between parks. And the roving award was originally a radar award. So it was inspired by radar and Eddie's work. And so if you want to combine POTA and even the roving award, that's cool.
Yeah, and Morten and I have tried that roving thing.
We try, but we made it a little bit too complicated for ourselves because we had parks in 2 countries, and we used a different radio and a different antenna in each park, and I think that was what broke us.
A little bit ambitious.
If we've stayed within the same country and used just the same radio and same antenna on every park, that would probably be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Bob, do you have a QSO with Morten on your FX4CR?
No, I have very few QSOs on it.
I have QSOs with Morten on this one right here.
All right, we'll see. Nice. Maybe this coming Sunday, I'll chase Morten when he's out doing his radar deployment.
Yeah, that'll make for.
I don't have a US one yet, but.
No, I'll get you. I get a lot of East Coast stations when out doing POTA, though, Walt. So it's definitely possible to do it.
It's just a matter of time.
Morten, I got just a couple of more slides.
Yeah, I'll put them up for you here.
All right.
And I actually managed to press the right button the first time today.
All right. Well, we've talked about registration. Registration is not mandatory, but it is encouraged. And I have a roster of people who have signed up. And just for review, the Radar Rally rules are at radarrally.info. And I would suggest subscribing to the Radar group on groups.io. So that's kind of a focus area for Radar. And I'm good on QRZ for my email, N4KGL. And if you join the Radar group, you can ask questions there, and also check out radarrally.info. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Whoops.
Thank you, Greg. I mean,
All
I
right.
think you got a couple of more radar operators just by doing this presentation.
Well, it's been worthwhile. That's a significant plus up.
Yeah, and we've actually stayed
Okay.
on topic most of the show
Well-
as well. So that is great.
Yeah.
I that's
Nice.
a record. We've never stayed this on topic ever.
No,
This is
we
great.
haven't. Let's see. We got a drawing that we need to do, Bob. I'm gonna put the contestants up on screen here. Let's see here.
Let's okay.
Or perhaps you have your in magic as well. So, but we'll just leave this on a little while. So these are the 4 people that can win the shortwave radio from Paul, Oscar Mike, 0 Echo Tango.
Yeah.
And once you have your drawing magic up, I'll put it up on screen there, Bob.
I'll see what I can do. What is that title? Here we go. If you share that screen.
Yeah, I'll put that up. And
Yeah.
Is there any chance of you making this bigger?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Because
that work?
I am. Yeah,
Yes.
that works. I am at a point now where I can't see the time on my watch without taking my glasses off.
You need to get an app. iWatch, Apple Watch. I don't know what they call. You can have screens on them that just for huge letters.
Yeah,
or numbers. That
I
works.
got a Garmin, and I
Yeah.
I have pretty big numbers on my watch already.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting new glasses is serious radio money. So
I've explained this many times before, so I'm just going to explain it really quickly. We've
Yep.
indexed the winners from 0 to through 3. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at the number of spots reported to the Whisper network for the first half hour of the show. We're going to take that number. We're going to divide it by 4, which is the number of contestants that had the correct answer. And that's going to create a remainder. That's going to create a remainder between 0 and 3. And that remainder is going to be the index for the list that we showed during the first half of the show. I'm going to run this a couple of times because for some reason it changes the results. But I'm going to just try to run this query a few times, and it should stabilize on one number. Let's see.
Should it be modulus 4 or modulus 2?
It should be modulus 4. So that's a copy and paste there. Let's run it again. Still 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm happy with that. So
we are
back
good.
to the slide.
Back to my slide here, and that was number 1.
That is Faroe Islands. I think he has one of the caps on its way already, or
Yeah.
we have 2 people on Faroe Islands.
And if you have his address, just send that to me, and I'll send it out to Paul, and he can send the radio to the Faroe Islands.
Fantastic. And congratulations, as polite people say. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And-
thanks to Paul for giving away a nice radio.
Yeah, that was
Again?
really, really nice. I don't have any radios left to give away, so I guess we're back to the hats next week.
Well, the radios you give away break very quickly. So
You mean when you put them over open fire and play with chainsaws and all that?
Well, you
I
started
didn't
it
put
by
it on
running over it
chainsaw.
with your car.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was only because Retivis told me that you could drive over that radio, and of course I had to test that.
So they
Weirdly,
have
I
themselves
never
to
hit-
blame, right?
yeah. I never heard anything from them about the sponsorship after that video.
I don't know if you've seen Shitter's videos, Greg, but he did a really good job on trying to break a Retivis HD.
I put it in a log splitter,
well, I
and
missed
then
that
that broke it. Yeah, that broke it.
two tons of pressure broke it. So I guess that's pretty much it for today. I have some guests planned for next week, but I don't have a confirmation yet, so I'm not going to announce that yet. But hopefully it'll be a great, let's call it a crossover YouTube show if everything goes to plan. If not, we'll go off topic all next week.
We'll go off topic anyway.
No
that doesn't matter.
problem.
So, and thank you all viewers. I don't think we've had this many new viewers in a great while on the show. So hopefully you new guys. Most of us guys here have, I think all of you, we have YouTube channels. Check them out. And I'm sure everyone likes a sub. And please subscribe to the European Ham Radio Show as well, so you can get notified when we have new episodes. Anyway, see you next week. I'm going to say same time, but it's going to be a different time for you North Americans.
We'll be back.
We'll be back at our regular time slot for North America next week, and I guess it's the regular time slot for Europe as well. Anyway, on that note, 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.
7-3.